Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Summary.
No, it's supposed to be like with the
Summary.
Oh,
It's a summary.
okay.
Summary.
and an ass slap.
Did you make your butt clap?
No, that was me clapping my hands because I can't do that.
No, I know.
Way to bring it up. It's a sore subject.
She's so hurt by that.
It's an audio. No one would know. You could have owned it.
I did clap my ass just now. You're welcome, world.
Yes. You're more my thighs than my ass, honestly.
Speaking of butt cheeks, let's talk about how we're going to get together.
Okay, wait. Explain what we're trying to accomplish here.
We're going on a girls' trip, and if one of us gets lost,
Or no, just like if we're just out somewhere and we're...
our hype. We want to be a hype. We want to hype people up. We want to hype our girls up, which our girls are just us three.
Just the three of us.
But we need a
chant.
well, it's not a
We
chant.
can start, and then there's like a call.
A callback and that they do like in a classroom where they'll be like, teacher will be like 1, 2, 3, and all the kids go, eyes on me.
Okay, so
Ew, that's creepy though.
that's what I asked.
But I want
Chat.
it a little bit inappropriate because we're adults.
Okay, hold on. Let me refine the search.
I want to be like penis, and you guys be like ass and titties.
We all just pop up ass and titties.
Okay, well, let me just give one of the options that it gave that was outside of the inappropriate
Okay.
genre.
Oh.
Was like 1, 2, 3, sip and read with me.
Oh.
It was more booky vibes, right? That's why I was like, let me refine the search a bit.
I could yell, move, bitch, and you guys could
Make
pop up and say,
these-
get out the way.
1, 2, 3, bad decisions. Next stop, please. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, refocus, regroup, refocus. Drinks on me.
Drinks on me. These are so dumb. Okay, wait. I'm gonna just read some of these. The caller can say, "Who run the world?" And the
Girls!
Group, the group would say, "Hot girls with issues."
Oh.
One more round. We don't remember the last. Is he cute? Probably not.
Where are you at? Right here. Don't disappear.
I asked it to make some rap style ones. This is definitely Cardi B influence. I would say, if it's up, and then you would yell, then it's stuck.
We came to Blackout and Thrive.
Blackout and thrive.
We said chill. We lied.
What do we want? Attention. When do we want it? Immediately.
Make
the
good
vibe.
choices. We'll see.
Cheers to poor choices and great stories.
So now it's giving me old timey. Have we lost the lady? Not on this night. Where wanders our sister? Fetch her immediately.
Where wanders us?
Or we could just pick right to the window. We all yell to the wall, and then we can all sing together to the sweat drop down.
Oh my
Because I'm not
God.
going to be able to not finish that.
No. We'll probably get the whole bar to
Yeah.
participate, honestly.
I was like, give me some more millennial nostalgia vibes. I don't understand these. Do it for the plot twist is the best one. Road work ahead? Oh yeah, I sure hope it does. You're so pretty. No, you are.
What if we just take movie quotes and be like, get it, losers, and everyone else can yell, we're going shopping.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Or someone could just yell, it's Britney, and the rest of us could yell, bitch. Maybe we just find song lyrics that we could use. And
Well, this one has, 90s vibes.
Cute but comfortable.
Don't go chasing
Random
people.
Oh.
People. I do think it's just, we just gotta repeat songs. I feel like if you hear something that sounds like it should be a lyric of the song and you know the next part, you just repeat it.
Yeah, right? This one's all, this is how we do it. And then,
It's Friday night
And I feel all right.
but it's going to be so loud everywhere we go. We're gonna really.
Are
have to
you?
scream.
You're doubting our vocal stamina.
Oh, I am not
I don't
doubting.
need this microphone for the world to hear me.
Yeah. In fact, normally when I go to do a presentation, I put the mic down because I'm loud enough already. Ooh, I'll just yell, making my way downtown.
Walking fast.
Faces past.
That's what I was. I was like, is it faces past?
And then we'll walk to each other like this.
Oh my god. Oh gosh, that was extremely unproductive. But let's go.
But also, I loved every second of it.
We did not nail down a group hype,
No.
but we have a lot of options
We have many options.
I'm sure we'll get there.
that we
By the
can
time
filter through on the drive.
we got a month to figure it out.
Oh my God, it's already a month away. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
All right, here we go.
Let's get into this book.
Hit us with an author bio. Oh, well, I guess first we should say that we're
Doing The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods.
Yeah.
All right, so Evie Woods is an Irish author known for writing enchanting book lover stories that blend magical realism with themes of healing, identity, and second chances. She is best known for The Lost Bookshop, a novel that celebrates the quiet power of stories and the idea that books can find you exactly when you need them most. Woods writes under a pseudonym and keeps much of her personal life private. I really couldn't find a lot about her. It adds a layer of mystery that mirrors the tone of her work. She previously published under her real name. She was building a foundation of emotionally driven storytelling before rebranding. Several of her earlier works include The Story Collector and The Mysterious Bakery on Rue de Paris. Have since been re-released under the Evie Woods name, giving her readers a chance to rediscover her backlist.
oh
Her body of work also includes titles like The Violin Maker's Secret and The Heirloom, all of which share her signature focus on characters at emotional turning points, often finding themselves through unexpected places, relationships, or moments of quiet magic. Her writing is deeply influenced by Irish settings, folklore. What sets Woods apart is her ability to create stories that feel both grounded and gently whimsical. She leans into the idea that transformation doesn't always come from grand gestures, but from small, meaningful shifts, often sparked by a place, a person, or fittingly a book. Okay, so the summary for The Lost Bookshop weaves together multiple timelines and characters, all connected by a hidden bookshop that seems to appear exactly when it's needed. At the center are people who feel stuck, overlooked, and searching for something more, whether that's purpose, belonging, or a second chance. As their stories unfold, the bookshop becomes more than just a place. It's a quiet force that brings the right people together at the right time, revealing how the smallest choices can ripple across lives and generations. Blending elements of magical realism with heartfelt storytelling, the novel explores themes of resilience, identity, and the idea that sometimes the story you're meant to live is the one you didn't plan. It's warm, whimsical, and rooted in the belief that books and the spaces that hold them can change us in ways we don't always see coming.
Nice. I will say this book said that it was a historical fiction. It really threw me off when we started reading it. I can understand now that I've finished it, but I was like, this is a little bit fantastical for it to be a historical fiction.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about the cocktail. We are calling this cocktail Lost and Lingering. It is 1.5 ounces of Jameson Irish whiskey because it is an Irish, there's a lot of Ireland discussions in there, so we wanted it to have an Irish nod. 1 ounce coffee liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce fresh brewed espresso, 1/2 ounce brown sugar syrup, and 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. And we rimmed it with some chocolate dookies.
It does look like poop.
And then creamed all over it. We topped it with a hand-shaken foam. Bailey's
Cold foam.
Cold foam.
Thank you.
It is 2 parts heavy cream, 1 part Bailey's.
I feel like we need to stir it.
Bailey's infused.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. Actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think
That cold foam's tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
the
that.
Bailey's cold foam. I like the Irish whiskey. I can taste it for sure. I like the Bailey's and the coffee liqueur. I love a coffee cocktail.
Yeah.
Same.
Coffee cocktails are
Can't go wrong.
the
Do you want me
sign
to
of
go
our
find us-
maturity.
Yeah.
We need a little upper to go with our
Yeah.
downer.
When we talked about this cocktail, we wanted an Irish inspiration as well as something that could encompass women's strength somehow.
Hence the coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
And bookshop vibes.
Chug an espresso and you'll have the strength of a woman.
Yes.
Yes, and the coffee is Bookshop vibes. Let's get into this book. Okay, so we're gonna start our chumps. Right, we're deep diving. We're gonna tell you all the spoilers, so get ready for it. And we're gonna start with my chump, which is we're gonna
chump for real.
All right, mine is the prologue through chapter 11. A boy walks into Opaline's bookshop, and a woman, Martha, welcomes him. He asks what Opaline means. And Martha says it's a name and offers to tell Opaline's story.
Buckle up, boy.
That's basically the prologue. And then we go into Opaline's. We jump around a lot. Like you said, it's a multi-timeline. So
and perspective.
Yes. So buckle up, listeners. You're in for a treat. Opaline it's in London, 1921, and we're looking from Opaline's perspective. Opaline Carlyle is 21 years old, and her mother and brother have decided that she needs to marry. Lyndon, her brother, is 18 years older than her and had arranged a marriage. And he's a real douche about it. He's like, it's about time you started pulling your weight around here.
Here's my friend. Go marry him.
Yes.
Complete your wifely duties.
Yeah. And
Ew.
like her dad passed away, and now you need to marry because we need money. Ugh. So Lyndon was in World War I and came back scared and deeply changed.
A little
Because he had to do
scarred,
some-
too.
Yeah, he had to do some things.
And a limp, a mean limp.
Yeah. Opaline doesn't want to marry, and with a deep love of books and reading, she reluctantly sells her beloved first edition copy of David Copperfield and uses the money to run away to Paris. And this is like the first inkling of her starting to deal in books.
Yeah, she gets like a little bit of adrenaline from it. Like, ooh, I could do this.
Yeah, maybe I could get more. I could have gotten more or whatever, yeah. Then we jump to Martha in Dublin 9 months ago, so it's like much more recent. Martha arrives in Dublin with several injuries, no money and no plan. She's bruised, she's beaten, she's battered. Running from an abusive relationship and finds work as a live-in housekeeper for Madame Bowden at 12 Happany Lane. Martha stays in the basement of the home, and on her first day, she sees men's shoes outside. Like, she wakes up, she's like scared that there's a man outside after she's just been in an abusive relationship. She sees him outside the window, like, because she's in the basement. I think you could only see his feet.
Yeah,
it's like the
street
window
level.
is street level.
Yeah.
I pictured like a New York City apartment. You know how they have like the street level.
Basement window.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
I
like
was
a
gonna.
higher up window. You could see the feet street level, but it's not like...
But
I
you're
have a-
below.
I'm below.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fearing her husband had found her, but when she looks, she sees that it's this young man, and his name is Henry. We move over to Henry's point of view. Henry is obsessed with rare books.
He's going to school, so he's on this like grant that's paying for him to travel to do this research.
And he's obsessed with all this research and finding rare books and all the things. He sits in a pub reviewing his notes. He has found a letter that was written by a famous collector, Mr. Rosenbach, to a woman named Opaline Gray. Henry thinks this is the break he needs. He blames his need for recognition on his drunk, abusive father. Henry travels to Dublin in search of the bookshop to which the letter was addressed, but when he shows up, the bookshop doesn't appear to exist. He was wandering Happany Lane in search of it when he met Martha. But he also seems to be like almost confused, like, I know there should be a bookstore here. Where is it?
But it's just kind of a lot between the houses. Like, there's other houses here. Are you the bookshop?
Yeah.
Under
Is
here?
there a bookshop in here?
He just like pokes his head. Are you the bookshop that I am in search of?
You said bookshop. So we go back to Opaline and her story, which is in the past. So Opaline travels from Dover, England to Paris, France. She only tells her friend Jane via a telegram. On the ship, she meets a handsome man, Armand Hassan. And he is very French and very flirty. And he can flirt his way into any woman's life, really. They flirt, but then they part ways. And in Paris, Opaline is unable to find work. So she sees a French translation of Edgar Allan Poe's work, and she's like, I've got to have it. And while she buys
That's
it...
my first thought when I see that. I gotta have
This
Edgar Allan Poe's
is
work.
a heavily book-ish book.
Yes, no,
Yes.
I know. But
For the love of literature.
It truly is. Like, it's very classics. And
Yes.
Armand walks in like, I see you've already bought my book. You've already sold my book. I don't know how to do a French accent.
I love that you decided to make him have an accent at this point in time. Carry on. How does Armand say it?
Not the way. Say the way. How does Armand say Say it. Tell me, darling.
Tell me more.
Okay, so Armand wants the book, and the guy has obviously already sold it to Opaline. He's like, let me take you to dinner. I can't stop doing the accents, honey. She declines his offer, and she finds he is a rare book dealer originally from Morocco, which I think is wild. She just met this guy on like a ferry, was attracted to him. The people she meets in these, like in the book world, it's like so
Perfectly timed.
Yes.
Because she meets classical authors as well at some point. Yeah.
Yes. So Martha, while dusting books, we're back in Martha's point of view. She's dusting books and she reflects on her tainted relationship with reading. She prefers to read people. And then we switch to Henry's perspective. So we're still on the same timeline as Martha, but Henry's perspective. The bookshop address 11 Happy Lane doesn't exist. The buildings go from 10 to 12. He's wandering when Martha walks out of her home, hoping she knows more. He offers to buy her coffee, and then he explains his search, and she explains she's only the housekeeper. Going back to Opaline in Paris, Opaline wanders in a bookshop, Shakespeare and Company, and meets the owner, Sylvia Beach. Sylvia hires her as an apprentice. Sylvia is a small character in the story, but she makes a big impact on Opaline's life, and she like really takes her in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So back to Martha's timeline, Martha tells Madame Bowden about Henry's search. Madame Bowden tells her a story about a party guest who once arrived late and shaken because she had walked through a door believing it was the house, but found herself inside an old bookshop. So like, oh, interesting that Henry's looking for this bookshop because someone said that they've seen it before. Martha thinks the house must have once been attached to a bookshop.
Which is what I thought too. Like maybe it's just parceled or something at the house. And it was like a bookshop house situation on the street.
Yeah.
Like upstairs
That's where
is the
mine
home,
went.
downstairs is the bookshop situation.
Yeah, that's where my mind went.
Having some money and free time, Martha decides to go shopping. I think even Madame Bowden talks about like, it's time to get some new attire, lady. Like, you're looking a little rough around the edges. It's time to step up your game. And so she goes shopping. She goes into a library and not knowing how they work, starts to feel embarrassed when the librarian loudly confronts her about placing books in her bag. And she doesn't, you need a library card, like kind of gives her a hard time about it. And so before she leaves, she sees Henry. She like places the books back.
She's kind of embarrassed
Yes.
and like,
Yeah, she was already struggling on the idea of going and reading the book, and now you're being ostracized in front of a crowd, like
called out.
I'm putting it back. I
Yeah.
don't need this shit.
Yeah. And so before she leaves, she sees Henry. From Henry's perspective, hearing the librarian shout at Martha, he walks over to help. He tells Martha about his research of Opaline Gray. Martha searches the internet and in minutes finds a photograph from the 1920s captioned Sylvia Beach and assistant Opaline Carlyle.
and he's like mind blown. Like, how did you find this
He's
in
like,
like
"You're
3
good at
seconds?
Yeah, and I was irritated. Like, I get it, you're into classics, but you couldn't fucking Google this bitch?
Yeah.
To get a starting point?
Right.
Well, what's interesting is because he's looking for Opaline Gray and she finds an Opaline Carlyle and makes the connection somehow. Now back to Opaline's perspective. Paris in 1921, she begins this love affair with Armand, and she knows like he's gonna break my heart. He's a fling. But
I can't help but care about him.
Yes, but she really does have some love in her heart for him. One day while working, a journalist writing about Hemingway takes a photograph with Opaline in the background. She fears Lyndon will find her. Lyndon is her brother, and she's on the run right now. So she's like, oh my gosh, she took a picture of me, but I hope I'm okay. So
Like, he's not going to look at this about Hemingway
Right.
in this
In
Paris
this magazine.
Yeah, this Paris article.
Yeah, so hoping to surprise Armand, she finds him at a cafe with another woman. Like she's like walking through the streets and sees him, and she like walks up like, oh, I'm gonna go surprise him and say hi. And then she realizes that he's with this other woman. And then he like chases after Opaline because they make eye contact and she turns around and walks away. He chases after Opaline and he claims that he loves her and would end things with any other woman because he wants to be with her and her alone. And then when she returns to her apartment, she sees her brother's walking cane by the door.
And it's weird the way Armand kind of like explains his like fling is so kind of cringy. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just sex, basically.
She's just another woman.
Yeah.
It's
You
okay.
have my heart, Opaline.
Yeah, exactly.
And as soon as she saw that cane, I was like, run, bitch. Run.
Okay, so it jumps to Martha, and after a dinner party that Madame Bowden didn't attend, like she invites all her friends over, and then she doesn't come downstairs, but her friends do kind of talk about her, but Martha finds cracks in the wall behind her wardrobe after the party. And in the middle of the night, she's awoken with another line from a story in her head. Throughout her life, she inexplicably receives lines from a story. She then feels compelled to tattoo them on her back. Mm-hmm. And there are some hints throughout this part of the book, like where you're like, she's got some sort of intuition, or like something psychic-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like she can read people really well and things like that.
And then we jump into chapters 12 through 22. We're back to Opaline in Paris of 1921. Lyndon is in Opaline's apartment. He and his friend drag her away, intending to keep her locked up until they can force her to marry. And the friend is bragging that Lyndon was called the Reaper during the war. Armand, who was kind of hanging back and followed her, sees that she was kidnapped and goes to the hotel room where they were holding her and rescues her, like lets her out of the room. Tells her to go to the bookshop, and then once she's there, Sylvia, the owner, and then there's a regular patron there named James Joyce. They're working on getting her out of the country into Ireland, and he's like, oh, go see my friend, Mr. Fitzpatrick, in Dublin. He has this shop of unique things, and you can go and be an assistant and get out of here. Like, you could have a job and a life up there. Martha follows Henry to the library at Trinity College. He wants to show Martha that anything is possible, and Martha is touched. Like, oh, this is a very nice thing to do for me. Henry teases Martha for not reading. Martha's, because he doesn't know, and he's just this awkward, nerdy literature boy, and he's like trying to make jokes with her, but he makes them about her, and he hurts her feelings. So she gets up to leave, and she tells Henry about her husband. He beat me. I'm here now. I ran away, and he stopped me from being able to read and go to college, and you making fun of me for not being able to read or read well is not cool, dude. Her husband, they started dating in college, and his jealousy turned into control and violence. She married him anyways, thinking that it would change.
Well, she like married him out of guilt because they broke up, and then his dad or somebody died.
Yes.
And she was like, I need to be there for him.
And he came back and was like, I'll be different. I understand. I've lost someone, and now I don't want to lose you too.
Right.
So back in Henry's perspective, he's horrified by Martha's story, and he doesn't know what to do, so he just hugs her. While they're mid-hug, his phone's ringing, and it's Isabella's calling.
Which she makes a comment
fiancé.
like, I can read people really well. Like Henry, even before she's talked to him, she's like, Henry's in love with Isabel. And when it says it in the book, you're like, who's Isabel? And then like even this part, I think I was thinking like, oh, she must have already known who Isabel was somehow. Like there's like this connection that I'm like, that seems strange.
Yeah. So she pulls away and says she should walk home alone. Feeling guilty, he avoids Isabel's calls, continues to ignore his fiance's calls, and returns to his research. Then we jump to Opaline. She's made her way to Dublin. It's 1921, and she arrives at Mr. Fitzpatrick's antique shop, but she learns he's died. His son, Matthew, is there, and he offers to lease her the shop. But Matthew and her have like there obviously is some attraction there, but he's married with a kid. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to be professional and give her some help. So he's like, there's a basement apartment and the shop. Like, you can own the shop, it'll be your shop, and you can have the apartment, but you need to, pay me rent. You need to get it off the ground. You need to make it work. And he explains that his father built the shop from the wood of an old abandoned library in Italy. Like, him and his wife went on their honeymoon. They demolished this library, and he thought this wood is too great and has too much history to it. Paid to fly it to Dublin, and then built this antiques shop with it. It's really like an oddity shop.
Mm-hmm. And it's very quirky.
Yes.
Like hand built by some old man.
Yes. So that night, she agrees to take the shop, but she hears noises. And then a copy of Dracula falls off a shelf. And after picking it back up, it falls again. And she's like, this must be a sign that the shop wants me to read it. I would have been like, are vampires here? Are you coming to eat my soul? Back to Martha. The cracks in the wall are growing larger. And through the plaster, branches are starting to grow through the wall. Madame Bowden tells her not to worry about the quirks of the old building. And one of the roots has flattened itself into a shelf along the wall, and a single book is there. The book is called A Place Called Lost. Thinking it's from Madame Bowden, she fights her fear and tries reading it.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that old Madame Bowden.
Just leaving books for me.
Leaving books on these mysterious shelves.
These tree shelves growing out of the wall.
Shelves. She must be making changes to the house or something. And then she
wants me to
knows
read.
I want to read, so she's provided me with this book.
Yeah. Back in Henry's perspective, he's coming to offer coffee to Martha. and apologized for not telling her about Isabel and asks if they can be friends. She agrees, and they talk about Opaline and the lost manuscript that he's looking for from Emily Bronte and the mysterious bookshop. So Martha educates him on the general fate because he's like, oh, there's not a lot of stuff about Emily Bronte and Opaline, and it's all about the men. She's like, yeah, dumbass, because the fate of women in history is not great. Like, there's no stories about the women in history. So Henry thinks about his first night in Dublin when he drunkenly stumbled into a bookshop, but it disappeared when he left. So similar to the story of the woman entering the bookshop instead of Madame Bowden's house. Mm-hmm. Then it jumps to Opaline back in Dublin in 1922. She's making herself at home with the antique shop. She finds an old pair of trousers and wears them for practicality. Like, I'm cleaning up the place. I might as well wear these pants instead of my skirt.
What a scandal.
A scandal. She adopts a new name. She starts calling herself Miss Gray to hide from her brother. And during this time, she contacts collectors looking for information about the Bronte sisters, inspired by Emily Bronte's hypothetical second novel. She finds a lead, but it would need to return to London. She's like biting back her fear, and she decides to go. Like, just fuck it. I gotta go. This is for my research. Back into Martha, she's reading A Place Called Lost, and it's a children's story about an old library in Italy that is believed to have been haunted. Once demolished, a man takes the wood to build a shop in Ireland. This makes her think of Henry, and she realizes she's falling for him. Martha reflects, and she's like talking about, okay, if I do, like, I'm not going to make a choice to go follow him, but then she realizes, like, choosing to not do something is a choice.
It's still a choice.
Yes. So she decides to apply to a local college. However, just as she's leaving, still husband, her estranged husband,
Abusive
Shane,
husband, yeah.
arrives. And he doesn't realize that Madame Bowden's there. So he's going off on this girl, telling her what an idiot she was, how she embarrassed him for leaving. He claims her mom's dying. Madame Bowden...
He's almost like, the first time he shows up, he's almost like apologetic, trying to like...
Win her back.
And your mom's dying. Come on, come with me. We need to go back. Like, you've lived this life already. How well you've done for yourself. Come on, let's go back. And yeah.
So Madame Bowden appears, and she's like, oh, she can't go with you. She has my clothes to press. She has dinner to prepare. She has responsibilities here. She's not going with you, little man.
She has a job here.
So Shane leaves angrily because he's not going to act a fool right now in front of Madame Bowden. And Madame Bowden demands an explanation. She's like, look, chick, you're staying here. I need to know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
We jump to Henry. He's meeting Martha at the college, and they go to tea. And he admits he likes Martha and doesn't know what to do about it. And she feels the same way, and they kiss. Remotivated. Martha, because after she meets Shane, she's back in her like self-conscious state. She didn't go sign up for college. So now that she's been revitalized by this kiss by a stranger, she rushes to go register for courses. And then we jump back to Opaline, who is now in England in 1922. She goes to a library to study some paper and letters from the Bronte estate, and she encounters Armand again. He invites her to an auction in London. She goes, though she knows it will be dangerously close to her brother, and at the auction, she meets a famous book dealer, Mr. Rosenbach.
And then it goes to My Chumps, chapters 23 to 35. In Martha's perspective, Shane arrives. He's drunk and he's angry, and he saw Martha and Henry together. He hits her and threatens her. I don't know, like backhands her, whatever he does. But it's funny
He's
because...
like, oh, what a life you've made for yourself. You're still my wife.
And you're
and I saw you out being a whore with that man.
Yeah.
How dare you embarrass me
What's
like
crazy, too, is that all she thinks about is, oh, my God, he hurt Henry. Instead of, like, he's over here beating me, she's worried about Henry and what he did to him. So then Madame Bowden interrupts them. Suddenly, something seems to push Shane hard, and he falls through the banister, falls backwards over the railing and onto the basement floor. Martha realizes that he's dead. When she looks over, she can see he's all distorted and whatnot.
She's like, a human shouldn't be laying like that.
Yeah. And so calmly, Madame Bowden tells her to go shopping and everything will be fine when she returns. She's like, actually, I think you need to go to the grocery store. I need you to pick up these things.
For my dinner, remember?
And when you get back, everything will be fine. And so when she returns, hours later, the body's gone and everything is in its proper place. Later, the police arrive to inform her that her husband's body was found in the river. And she tries to talk to Madame Bowden about it, but she says he simply fell. So then in Henry's perspective, he returns to London to break off his engagement. He wants to be with Martha, but he leaves without telling Martha anything. He leaves her a note, but she doesn't know about the note. She misses it or something. I don't know how she misses it.
I don't think
so
it ever
silly.
gets into it. Out of all the things in
You
this
have
day
her
and
phone
age,
number.
you
Because
just
this is
run
present
off.
day. Yeah, exactly.
Such a dumb boy.
Really was.
And so he leaves, and while in London, he visits his mother, his sister, and his brother-in-law, and they talk about his father in rehab. So then
But she doesn't want anything to do with. He's like, I don't care about him.
Right,
How
like,
many
they have
times
a
has he been in rehab? I don't
terrible
care.
relationship, and so he's like, I don't need to know anymore about what my dad's doing.
Yeah.
So then Opaline in England, 1922, Opaline walks in London with Armand. They're kind of just out and about together, realizes that Armand truly is a cutthroat book dealer. She doesn't tell him about her efforts to find Emily Bronte's work. So she visits Mr. Brown's bookshop only to find he passed, but still takes time to speak with his wife. His wife sells her a sewing box that belonged to Charlotte Bronte and returns to Dublin.
She's like, this is the only thing that's left of the Bronte sisters that we have. So you can have it.
Yes.
And she's like, she's like, what do you want for it? She's like, well, I have to sell it to you. So she's like, gives it to her for a penny or something like ridiculously cheap.
Yes. So then 3 months after returning from London, and she hasn't heard from Armand, she's laying in bed and she realizes she's pregnant. In Martha's perspective, before returning home for Shane's funeral, she goes to find Henry and is told that he left. She doesn't see his note, obviously, and she's kind of upset about it. Like, but he left and didn't say anything to me, especially since we've had this little relationship happening. And
He must have gone back to his other woman. And
yeah, he obviously changed his mind. He's not calling off his
He's
engagement.
back. The guy who owns the bed and breakfast is like, the husband, another dumb man, was like, oh yeah, he went back home to London.
Yes.
But the wife of the bed and Airbnb knows like he went back to go, but he's coming back. And this man doesn't tell her that. Like, oh yeah, he went back home. Toodaloo, girl,
Selective details.
you're interrupting my soccer.
Oh, yeah. After the funeral, her mute mother speaks. They
But she
reconcile.
learned sign language because her mom
Yeah.
doesn't speak. Like they've learned to talk to each other, but there's all this like contentious feelings around their relationship. And
Which is wild that she
She
learned
just-
all this sign language to talk to her, but then her mother actually can talk.
speak. She could speak.
Yes.
She just didn't want to use her voice.
Yeah. So they reconcile, and Martha realizes how manipulated and controlled she was by Shane. So, in Henry's perspective, he initially plans to return to Dublin, but his sister gives birth early, so he extends his stay and he sends many texts to Martha. He's trying to like tell her about what's going on.
Oh, but when she went to the
yeah.
house and was like, oh, he went home, she blocks his number.
Yes, because she's hurt, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, forget it. I don't need to talk to you.
I'm not burying this one problem to go jump into a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
So then Opaline in Dublin, 1922, she has only told Matthew about her pregnancy. She inspects the sewing box again and finds a hidden catch that reveals a tiny notebook. And the notebook contains a piece of a story dated 1846. She realizes there are pieces of Emily Bronte's second unfinished manuscript in this notebook.
She has it.
So then in Martha's perspective, one night, another line of mysterious stories appears in her head. And the next day, she rushes to the tattoo parlor. She's like, okay, I've got this line. I need to get it tattooed. This one's a good one. And she's confused, and the artist tells her that the line is already on her back. He's like, oh, what's already written here? And she's like, what? What do you mean it's already there? So returning to Madame Bowden's, she is filled with a sense of purpose and belonging. And that night, she reads more of A Place Called Lost, and the story now includes a man named Fitzpatrick, and a woman who cuts her hair short and wears men's trousers. Martha suspects it is about Opaline. So then in Henry's perspective, relenting to his family, Henry visits his father in rehab because they're like, you should probably go see him. And he doesn't want to, but gives in, and he finds him doing well for the first time. His father apologizes and tells him how proud he is of him. Martha hasn't responded to any of his texts, and he receives an email with a letter from Opaline Carlyle to Sylvia Bach, and the letter refers to her being incarcerated.
Yeah, like we've both been in this prison before or something like that. And we've made it out.
is Opaline's perspective. We're in Dublin, 1923. She's attending an auction in Dublin, and she meets a Frenchman named Ravel. So they visit the college library, but they run into Armand. And Opaline plans to tell him about the baby, but first tells him about her discovery of the manuscript. He reveals his greedy, jealous nature. He considers her inferior, and she should give the manuscript to him to be managed and sold properly. And
He's like, at first, he's like, oh, what a wonderful thing you found. Give it to me.
I'll help you sell it. I know a man who will take it right now, top
And
dollar.
he acts like this isn't a huge thing for her. It's like, great, give it to me. 'Cause
Yeah, you found
can't
this
do it.
for
take
me.
care of it for you.
Yeah, and it's like not even a question that she wouldn't, that she would just handle it.
Right. And so amidst all of that, she decides not to tell him about the baby. So then in Henry's perspective, returning to Dublin to see Martha, he runs into Madame Bowden because he comes back finally. It was always the intention to come home. And so he's like, let me go find her because I haven't talked to her. She's not answering my texts. And he runs into Madame Bowden. She demands to know why he left and what his intentions are. She kind of gets a little bit protective
She does.
of Martha. And so Henry defends himself and gives his side of the story and says he's not letting her go without a fight. And in Opaline's perspective, in Dublin in 1923, she's feeling isolated and lonely, so she writes a letter to Sylvia. Before it's mailed, Mr. Ravel comes to visit her and takes the letter. Fearing he's working with her brother, she plans to leave Dublin. She entrusts the manuscript with Matthew, but doesn't tell him why she's leaving. So she's falling asleep while packing. She's awoken to a bright light in her face. So then Martha goes for a swim and finds Henry waiting on the beach for her. She kisses him, and when he starts talking about Opaline, she believes he hasn't come back for her. Hurt, she walks away from him because they have this moment, and then she's like, I'm still kind of hurt. Like, you left and didn't say anything. And
Well, no, it was
Then you're not
like
even
you're
back for
you're
me.
back here for your work. Like you're not here for me.
yeah, you didn't come for me, but
Yeah.
you just are here, and here we are kind
Yeah.
of situation.
She's like, we should just be friends.
Yes. And that ends my chumpies.
We jump into 36 through 47. From Henry's perspective, after seeing her and this encounter with Martha, he goes to a pub. He drunkenly wanders to Martha's house and explains about his note and why he left for London. And she has decided she can't risk a relationship with him. She asks him to keep her updated about his research for Opaline. He shows her the letter between Opaline and Sylvia. In Opaline's perspective, Dublin, 1923, Lyndon takes Opaline to an asylum where she is committed against her will. I hated that.
I hated this whole part.
Like the guy that was trying to buy the thing, she thought she was doing big things, and then he just threw her
Right under the bus.
Yeah. Lyndon shows up and he takes her to an asylum where she's committed against her will. She's thrown into a cold room and is treated poorly by the nurse. They all claim that she's crazy.
the nurses were such assholes.
Yeah.
Hate them all.
Like, women, come on, let's
I know.
band together. But they don't.
You're just a sadistic little bitch.
But on the other hand, like, if I were to be blindly following this doctor who I thought maybe was a great doctor, and he was saying they're crazy and this is just the norm of how insanity works, I don't know what I would believe. But
But would you be that cold to them? I don't believe
no, I
that.
definitely wouldn't be okay with just throwing him on a ground and not giving him a bed, and
But then after
their food is
so
sucky. And
so long of having actual conversations with these women, you think that you would start to realize, like, these women are not
right. But some of them
insane.
were, right?
Yeah,
Like, some of them truly
did
are.
have
more
mental
so than not.
right, which made I think a little blurry, right? Because they're
Yeah.
like, well, most of the girls in here do have problems.
And they act similar in some ways, right? But also what happens. So she's thrown into this cold room and treated poorly. She decides to stay calm, believing she can eventually convince the doctors. Like, it's just Lyndon that has convinced them that I'm crazy, but I'm going to convince the doctor that I'm not, and you should let me go. But
Because
only-
she's been a boss bitch. She has her own shop now. She's learned the book dealing ways. Like,
Yeah.
I just need to talk to this man, and then I'll get
and
out.
you'll realize I'm not insane.
Yeah.
I don't belong here. You should let me out. My brother's a liar.
Yes.
But only later does she understand many of the women in the asylum are in similar circumstances. Back to Martha's perspective, she talks about her life with Madame Bowden. When she returns to the basement, she finds more books on the branch shelf. Following a message in the book, she climbs the stairs toward the attic and finds a door she can't open. Madame Bowden hears her, so she gives up and goes back to bed. In Henry's perspective, his advisor tells him he hasn't produced any evidence. Like, you've been doing this research for a long time, and you have no evidence of anything that you're actually moving forward with, so the department is pulling all of his funding. But then he finds another letter from Opaline to Jane, her friend, and a letter Jane sent to an Irish newspaper. Basically, just Jane is begging to help, like for help, as her friend is unjustly held in an asylum against her will. She's asking for help to get her out, that there are other women in there and she doesn't belong there. Back to Opaline's perspective, during the beginning of her incarceration, she demands to speak to the doctor. She eventually realizes the doctors don't care about her pleas, and they even make her almost feel like, they might believe she's crazy. She's in there for a reason. She makes friends with a young woman who was placed there by her father. 2 weeks after arriving, she gives birth. She begs to be taken to the hospital because she's in labor. But the nurses just ignore her all night. This is the part where now you guys you're not good people. They ignore her all night, and when the baby is born, they tell her the cord was wrapped around the baby's neck and didn't survive. And they're like, why do you want to hold a dead baby?
Yes.
You don't get to hold the dead baby.
I was and this part made me cry, and I was like, you motherfucker. If you would just open the door when she was when she was in labor and took her somewhere,
could have saved the baby.
You could have saved them.
Yes.
I'm so mad.
Yes.
And then her whole, why would you want to hold the dead baby?
Yeah, like clearly you're insane.
Yeah.
She's like, I just want to see my baby. Which I don't think they knew what it was, but she knew in her heart when she was pregnant it was going to be a baby girl, and she had picked out a name, and she grew attached to this thing growing in her.
Yeah. She was like, this is a new leaf on life.
She was nervous when Armand was not going to be around, but then she was like, I love this baby.
Yeah.
Already. I don't care. Back in Martha's perspective, while taking a literature course, the tutor recommends that she apply for the full degree program. Her tutor, Logan, is becoming a friend. Back to Henry's perspective, Madame Bowden invites Henry to the house for Martha's birthday party. At the party, he shows up to do something, like give her something, and then she's like, you're coming, right? He's like, I wasn't invited. She's like, of course you're invited. Stop being stupid and get in there and win
Show your
girl
face
back. Go. Don't be so stupid. At the party, he sees Martha in a beautiful gown looking happy because he does end up showing up, and he has his gift for her. He gifts Martha an expensive Mont Blanc pen before leaving. Opaline, she's in the asylum in 1923. Opaline is in a deep depression. She's lost her baby. She's stuck in this cold cell. They don't feed her very well. She's close to death. Mary says she'll help Opaline, Mary, her friend, she'll help Opaline survive this, and then they'll help each other. Opaline writes a letter to Jane asking for help, but a year passes without response. Mary grows ill, and to distract her at night, Opaline recites the story from the Bronte manuscript. Back to Martha's perspective, she's nearing the end of her book, is fully convinced that Opaline wrote it. She decides to tell Henry at his B&B, and Henry suddenly panics he's going to miss his bus. Henry, bringing Martha along the bus to the old asylum, on the way he explains to Martha that women were often put in institutions against their will. When they arrive, Martha lies that they're safety inspectors. Oh, Martha gets into, because he's like, I don't know how we're going to get in here. I haven't called anyone. I don't know how we're going to make this happen. And Martha's like, I got you. And she just lies that they're safety inspectors and they need to get access to the records.
She's like, show him your badge. He was like, so he shows him his school ID. And they're like, I don't recognize that. And she's like, yeah, well, we're here. You need to let us in.
Yeah. And they're like, okay. And he's like, I'm impressed by you.
It's just about confidence.
Yes. And so he's like, that was so natural for you. She's like, I know.
How great was that?
That was amazing. I'm fantastic. As they dig through these records, they are caught and they make this quick escape, which again, Martha lies. And eventually she pulls the correct file and takes it with her and they flee. Back to Opaline's story. She's in the asylum, 1941. 18 years have passed and Opaline remains trapped. Treatment is worse. Food has become scarce and Mary has died. Opaline embroiders her skirt to keep herself busy. She sews Bronte's manuscript all along her skirt.
Honestly, if I had been there for 18 years, perfectly sane, I might go insane.
I might be insane now.
I think she's on the brink of insanity, really.
Yeah.
And might consider no longer being here.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I know. It's right where she is.
I know.
Yeah. So she receives news that her mother has died, and she believes this is the opportunity to escape. Speaking to the doctor, she demands to attend the funeral. And the doctor tells her that the funeral was a week ago. Like, girl, you're late.
We only gave you that information because we sat on it for a while because we
Yeah.
knew you'd be hysterical.
Opaline snaps, finally. She's gripping a knife off the table and she holds it to her throat. She offers a deal. The doctor will allow her to leave and keep it a secret so he can continue to receive payments from her brother. Like, she figures all this out. Like, my brother's paying you to keep me here, so you're just going to side with him. Like,
And you know I'm not crazy. You're just doing it for the check.
Yes. And so the doctor agrees and she runs. He's like, well, who cares? This place is going under anyways. Like, kind of an attitude.
Like, okay, you're right. You're not going to see him on the streets. I'm going to still get my checks, go out this back door.
Yes. And so she runs. Back to Martha's perspective, her mother visits at Madame Bowden's. She tells her past secret that Martha's grandmother was actually adopted as a baby girl by a hard and unkind couple. She was killed in a train accident, and that was when Martha's mother lost her voice. They have a touching moment. When she goes to leave, her mother hopes she'll get to meet Madame Bowden next time. But Martha thinks it's odd because she introduced them already. Like, Madame Bowden was there when she walked in and gave them a moment in the kitchen together so that they can have it. She's like, I hope to meet Madame Bowden someday. She's like, what are you talking about?
Didn't you
saw
just meet her?
Yeah.
Then we jump into the final leg of the book, chapters 48 through the epilogue, and Henry arrives at Martha's to go over Opaline's files together. Martha says she thought she wouldn't see him again now that he has all of his information. She shares the book, A Place Called Lost, with Henry, and then she tells him about the stories or like the one-liners that come to her that she tattoos on herself. Henry's in the file and shows Martha a photo of Opaline in the asylum, and Martha is startled but doesn't explain as she shoves Henry out the door because she recognizes the skirt and the wording on the hem. So Opaline in Dublin, 1941, she returns to her bookshop after the escape. Matthew is gone and everything is desolate due to the war. So we're mid-World War II. So she hides in the attic because she's like, she sees cracks in the glass and she's like, okay, I just need to be up here and get some sleep.
It's abandoned. Nobody's going to come looking for me in here anyways.
It's been 18 years.
Yeah.
So then a man enters the shop and he speaks with a German accent and introduces himself. Like, she hears some rustling downstairs and she like comes down ready to fuck someone up in her dilapidated form in a gown. Like, she's
a
not
freaking
even
asylum gown.
Yes. And he is Joseph Wolf, and he explains that he sneaks in to read sometimes. He's like, I'm not going to harm you. I just come in here to read. And she tells him it's her home, so you can't be coming in here, Joseph. This is my house. So the next day, Joseph comes bringing several packages. He has candles, he has food, and he explains he is a POW, and he's currently held at a camp. But because Ireland is neutral, they allow POWs to leave the camp during the day to attend courses at Trinity College. And he's like, I don't go to the college. I come here and I read instead.
Which is crazy. Like the nicest POW setup you could ever imagine.
Because you're just, we trust that you'll return back to captivity.
Yeah. Well, because we're not doing you any harm because we're not against you necessarily, but also you're not
can't
allowed to
leave.
go run amok in our country.
Right.
So he leaves, but he continues. Like, he leaves with the food and she like devours the meats and cheeses that he leaves. But he leaves but he continues to leave small gifts at her door, whether it's food or wood for fire. She's regaining her strength and she decides she needs to rebuild her life by retrieving the Bronte manuscript from Matthew. But she finds that Matthew died during a German bombing. Him and his family went to London and they got caught up in one of the Nazi bombings, and there's no sign of the manuscript. So Joseph visits again and reveals he's a mechanic and he likes to help fix broken things. So he's fixing broken toys in the shop, and eventually her and him have like a little relationship now. Like, they're very close. They're like kindred spirits. So they're just hanging out together. There's nothing romantic about it. They're just in each other's space, living life every day until he goes back to POW camp. But eventually he comes and he's like, I'm getting repatriated. I'm going home. And once he leaves that time, Opaline's like, oh, this is like, he was my soulmate. And now he's gone and I'm alone. And this just is what it is. Like, I've lost all of the loves of my life. What a sad life.
Yeah.
We jump back to Martha and she's struggling with being friends with Henry.
She loves him.
She does. That morning, she finds Madame Bowden is missing. Like, she goes to find, like, go wake her up. What kind of breakfast you want, bitch? Like, all the things. And she's nowhere in the house. So Martha calls her mom, who again says, like, I never met Madame Bowden. Like, even when I went to your house, you were the only one there. Mm-hmm. So Henry arrives, and she shares her concerns about Madame Bowden, her fighting for what she wants most, which is him. And then they kiss. But Henry has seen Madame Bowden. Mm-hmm. He knows she existed. They're the only two that saw her.
Yeah, he got invited to the party
Yes.
by Madame Bowden. Yeah.
So in Henry's perspective, because they end up going down to the basement, get a little freaky. They're lying in bed together, and Martha shares the words on Opaline's skirt are the same as her tattoo, which they were rolling around, George Brown in that bed, and he didn't see the tattoo, which I would imagine is a good chunk of her back.
Yeah. It's a whole freaking story.
Manuscript. And she thinks it's Emily Bronte's manuscript.
And he reveals to her, I think in this moment too, that he's been in the bookshop.
Yes, he tells her about, I walked in one time, but I was drunk and I thought I was imagining it.
Because when I walked out and turned around, it was gone.
Yes.
I've never been able to find it again.
So then we jump to Opaline in London in 1946, and she's inspired to confront her brother. She's like, it's time, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. She researches his service in World War I and learns that the men he executed, they weren't really deserters or needed to be executed.
Yeah, because he's viewed as this war hero who executed people who were
running away and being cowardice, and they weren't.
And not good soldiers.
Right.
But they weren't at all.
She has evidence that he executed men without cause and gives all of this information to a journalist. And she confronts Lyndon in his house, and she tells him about the journalist, everyone's going to know about you, you fucking loser. Mm-hmm. And he
loser of a brother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then he insists that the men he executed deserved it. Lyndon also reveals a horrible truth. Lyndon is her biological father. He was like, I slept with this whore, and she had you, and you're a whore daughter. But my father had a bleeding heart and insisted on keeping you. And that's the only reason why you're here. I wanted to abandon you, which Opaline's taken back oh my God.
Yeah.
You cannot be
my dad?
discussed. Mm-hmm. He also reveals that Opaline's baby survived birth, and he sold her to a couple. He never tells her where or how to find the baby, and she was like, I don't need to hear that. I'm leaving. I don't need to give you any more of my time, any more of my energy. And as she's walking out the door, she hears a gunshot, and the maid that was in the house starts screaming because Lyndon shot himself. Fucking coward. Mm-hmm. Then we jump back to Martha. Madame Bowden still hasn't returned, and Martha suspects she never will. It's been 12 hours. She ain't never coming back.
She just left me this home.
Yeah. She reads the last pages of A Place Called Lost and suddenly feels powerful and steady. And Henry tells her he found the records for Opaline's baby, and her name was Rose. And Martha tells him that that's her grandma. That was my grandma's name.
Who was adopted, yeah.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that's who it is. So she's related to Opaline. Henry's perspective, Martha thinks that they can now find the bookshop and starts leading Henry upstairs. Martha tells him that apart from Shane, they are the only two people to have seen Madame Bowden. But really, you can't confirm that he saw her or not because you never question him. So they climb up the stairs
by a random strength of a person.
Yes, Madame Bowden really muscled down.
Yeah.
They climb the stairs, and through a tiny door in the attic, they find another staircase leading downward. Then it jumps back to Opaline in 1952. She writes a children's book called A Place Called Lost. She believes her daughter will eventually find her. She then finds Joseph standing in the snow outside her house, and they hug, and Joseph hands her a gift, a rare copy of David Copperfield with an inscription from Alfred Carlyle. It was the book she sold in the beginning from her dad. Jumping back to Martha, they find a servant's passage back to her apartment at the bottom of the stairs, and she's like, well, fuck, it doesn't really take us anywhere. We just went up and back down into my room. And that night, Martha dreams of a man handing her a key and a woman telling her she's been waiting for her. She awakes to see the roots and the trees grown in her room were gone. She climbs the stairs. At the top, rather than a house, she finds Opaline's bookshop. While she looks around, she finds stained glass windows with a design of a woman in men's trousers holding hands with a soldier. Then it jumps to the epilogue, and Martha is finishing telling her story to the boy in the bookshop, and she swears to him it's all true. Henry walks in kissing Martha and calling her Miss Fields, so they got married, and they never found Emily Bronte.
Miss Fields is a cookie place.
I know.
Mrs. Field.
Maybe she starts the cookie company.
Exactly. That's book 2. So they never found Emily Bronte's manuscript, but it's safely hidden in the vault in an Irish bank waiting to become part of somebody else's story. But it's also on her fucking back.
Yes.
And that's where we end The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods.
Yay! So now we rate this book.
Let's do it to it.
We rate all of our books on a 3-shot system. 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth a hangover. And 3 shots is it got me up. Yeah, it did. This was Rox's choice.
It was.
It was my choice.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Because I knew it was going to be this like timeline shifting, whimsical type story. I was really trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. And it wasn't as like whimsical as I anticipated, right? Yes, there's this like hidden bookshop and it's there, but it's not there and nobody knows. But it's not like there's magic and fairies, right?
Yeah.
It's just this.
A different kind of whimsy.
Yeah. It took me a good, I don't know, half of the book to really start to get into it. So that's where I struggled. It was kind of slow where I had a hard time. So hard. I'm going to give it a 2-shot rating.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it was good. Like the storyline was good. And overall, I think it had good bones. But I wasn't like, sound the alarms. Everybody needs to read this book.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like I was expecting the opposite because I thought it was a historical fiction. The Lost Bookshop and like the summary or whatever, like the little tidbits of information that I found didn't sound historical fiction, but because even Goodreads was like, yeah, historical fiction is part of the genre, I didn't expect it to be super whimsical. So it was way more whimsical than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's
so the
funny.
opposite for you. I'm gonna rate it a 2. I agree. I do think it was a little bit slow. It was the ending was good. I liked it. It was way more fantasy-ish than I was expecting. It wasn't like it didn't get me bleeped up.
I had a hard time reading this book because like the stories of the women in the book made me cry, had all these emotions. And when I got done, I was like so happy for Martha. But I didn't like the brand of whimsy that was in the book. I would have liked it to have taken more of a backseat or not have been there at all. Like it could have just been these stories of these women finding their inner strengths and getting fucked along the way. And it would have been a great book. And I think the whimsy lost me a little bit. And I wanted to rate it a 3 because I had such visceral reactions about the women's stories. But because of the lack of whimsy or the whimsy that I didn't enjoy, I'm going to give it a 2.
See, and I think I liked the whimsy about it, but I was surprised by it. So maybe that's why I liked it. I was like,
I thought it was going to be like fantasy / historical fiction, which I think rounds it out a little bit, which it is a little bit of both.
It is, it for sure is.
It is a mashup of genres, but I don't know, the roots growing and then disappearing, and then you have to walk around the whole house to find the bookshop, and then the bookshop doesn't leave because you were the person intended. I don't know. It was just some old haunted wood from Italy. I didn't like the fantasy part of it.
You didn't like the rules that this because there was no rules. It was like when you read a fantasy, you have to learn the story of what the fantasy is. Like,
And what are
what's
the
allowed?
rules?
How does the
I'm
world
in.
work?
Yes, and this world didn't really have fantasy rules
Because it was
just like-
our world with fantasy in it.
yeah, with a little bit of whimsy.
Yeah, which I didn't enjoy, but I really liked the stories of the women that they told in this book. So I was torn.
So it's a 2.5.
No,
would you
it's
say?
a 2 because that would round up to a 3. So I'm giving it a solid 2.
A 2.25.
But it did make me have feelings, and I would recommend the book. But I don't think the whimsy was for me.
If you took out the whimsy, and
I would give it if it was just about the women, I would give it a 3.
But wasn't that like the focus of the book?
If it was just about the whimsy, I would give it a 1. So I'm settling on a 2.
Fair. Fair.
Oh, man.
But I think it was a good book.
All right, well, that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. We wandered through The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods, a story full of hidden doors, second chances, and the quiet magic that finds you exactly when you need it. The prompts are live now, so make sure you go answer them before next week's book club. We'd love to hear where this story took you, and don't forget to subscribe because we're here for you every Wednesday.
And if this story reminded you that some doors only appear when you're ready to walk through them, rate and review us, because the best stories aren't just read, they're found.
A hidden bookshop, a touch of magic, and stories waiting to be found. The Lost Bookshop gave us all three. If you love this vibe, follow @LitOnTheRocks on TikTok and Instagram, and visit literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may you always stumble upon the right story at the right moment and keep a little room in your life for magic. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.